You open your phone, and the headlines are screaming. Japan's debt bomb is detonating. The US dollar is about to collapse. Economic crisis ahead. You feel that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach. It feels like the global economy is standing on the edge of a cliff. And it is taking your financial security down with it. But here is an uncomfortable truth. Most of us spend hours agonizing over macroeconomic disasters halfway across the world, while completely ignoring the silent financial leaks happening right inside our own bank accounts. We worry about inflation eroding our purchasing power, yet we let hundreds of dollars slip away every month on forgotten subscriptions, convenient spending, and lifestyle bloat. Modern financial culture tells you to panic. It tells you to predict the market, hoard assets, or jump into high-risk trades to protect your wealth. But Japanese money culture, shaped by the famous lost decades of severe economic stagnation, teaches something entirely different. They survived a crashing economy not by outsmarting the market, but by building a resilient present. Today, we are looking at 8 Japanese money habits that build an unbreakable fortress of quiet wealth. Because you cannot control the central banks, but you can control your own financial system. It is completely normal to feel overwhelmed right now. Every time you buy groceries or pay a utility bill, it feels like your hard-earned paycheck is shrinking. The cost of living is incredibly heavy, and when you layer macroeconomic doom on top of it, the natural instinct is either to freeze or to panic. You might think the solution to all this uncertainty is finding a secret investment, buying gold, or aggressively trading to outpace inflation. But that is a dangerous trap. When we feel out of control globally, we often abandon our financial systems locally. We start to think, if the economy is crashing anyway, why does my daily spending even matter? This mindset quietly destroys wealth. It leads to revenge spending, ignoring consumer debt, or abandoning long-term savings goals, because the future just feels too unpredictable. This is where the Japanese approach to money becomes a lifeline. After their massive economic bubble burst in the early 1990s, the culture did not rely on getting rich quick to survive. Instead, they turned inward. They focused on financial resilience, deep clarity, and the profound concept of enoughness. They understood that true financial security does not come from timing the market perfectly. Quiet wealth is about building a personal economy so strong that the global economy's chaos cannot easily break you. It is about shifting your focus from the noise outside to the systems inside. Kakeibo. The absolute financial clarity when the news is filled with inflation and crashing currencies. The natural human response is avoidance. We stop checking our banking apps. We tap our cards at the register and look away, just hoping the balance is high enough to clear the transaction. This avoidance has a visible cost: unexpected overdraft fees, mounting credit card balances, and running out of money before payday. But the hidden cost is much worse. It is emotional paralysis. You surrender control of your microeconomy because the macroeconomy feels too intimidating. The psychological trap here is the belief that if you do not look at the numbers, the financial stress cannot hurt you. But ignorance does not protect your money. It makes you incredibly vulnerable. This brings us to our first Japanese concept, Kakeibo, which translates to a household financial ledger. Kakeibo is not powerful because a paper notebook is magical. It is powerful because it forces absolute attention. Modern money moves silently. Cards tap. Apps renew. Payments leave your account before you even notice them. Kakeibo forces the opposite. It asks you to slow the speed of money down long enough for you to actually see what it is doing. The system fix here is straightforward. For the next 30 days, do not rely on automated budgeting apps that do the math in the background. Physically write down every dollar that leaves your account. Quiet wealth often begins when money stops being a source of anxiety and becomes a clear, visible tool. Clarity always defeats fear, and once you can clearly see your money, you can protect it. Which brings us to how we handle the intense pressure to keep spending. Gaman, endurance with dignity right now. Inflation is making everything from basic groceries to housing significantly more expensive. The modern money problem is that we try to absorb these rising costs without changing our lifestyle. We want to keep the same daily conveniences, the same takeout habits, and the same premium subscriptions. The visible cost of this stubbornness is terrifying. We bridge the gap between our stagnant income and rising prices with consumer debt, racking up massive credit card interest. But the real cost is that you are actively trading your future financial freedom just to look like you are doing fine today. The psychological trap keeping us stuck here is shame. We are terrified of downgrading our lifestyle because modern culture equates spending less with failing. The Japanese concept of gaman completely flips this narrative. Gaman means enduring a difficult situation with patience, resilience, and dignity. During an economic winter, stepping back is not a failure. It is a strategic and dignified retreat. It is the quiet resilience of embracing a temporary discomfort to protect your long-term survival. The practical system fix is to accept a lifestyle downgrade on purpose. Ruthlessly cut convenient spending. Stop paying for food delivery, cancel the premium upgrades, and do things the hard way for a season. Use that retained cash to protect your financial baseline. Sometimes, the most powerful financial decision is not figuring out how to earn more. It is finding the quiet strength to say no to things you can no longer afford without feeling poor. And that requires a deep respect for your resources, leading us to our next habit, matanai, ruthless resource efficiency in times of economic pressure. There is a dangerous financial habit we often overlook: the acceptance of small daily waste. The modern money problem is that we are conditioned by a culture of endless convenience. We throw away perfectly good food. We leave unused subscriptions active because canceling them is annoying, and we order items online that we do not truly need just because the shipping is free. The visible cost is the literal money leaving your bank account. $20 here, $50 there. But the real devastating cost is that these leaks drain the very capital you need to build long-term wealth. You are losing the most valuable asset you have in a turbulent economy: your investment principal. The psychological trap is minimizing the waste. We tell ourselves, it is just a few dollars. It won't crash the economy. But thousands of small leaks will inevitably sink a ship. This is the essence of matanai, a deep Japanese sense of regret over waste. It is the belief that every resource has value and should not be discarded carelessly. Matanai is not just about environmentalism. It is a profound financial philosophy. It is a rebellion against the casual throwaway culture of modern spending. The system fix is to conduct a ruthless waste audit this week. Go through your kitchen, your closet, and your bank statements. Find 3 things you are currently wasting. Whether it is food that spoils, a gym membership you never use, or a streaming service you barely watch, and eliminate them. Saving money is not about deprivation. It is about a deep respect for the hours of your life you traded to earn that money in the first place. You stop the leaks not because you have to, but because your resources are too valuable to waste. Taru wo shiru, knowing enough. As headlines scream about the collapsing dollar and rising inflation, a new kind of panic emerges: the panic to get rich quickly. The modern money problem is that fear drives us into the arms of high-risk gambles. People see their neighbors boasting about crypto wins or day trading profits, and the fear of missing out becomes overwhelming. The visible cost is losing money in volatile investments you do not understand. But the hidden cost is the constant, exhausting mental churn. You are forever chasing the next big thing, living in a state of perpetual financial anxiety. The psychological trap is believing that you need an unlimited, massive amount of wealth to finally feel secure in a chaotic world. The antidote to this endless chase is taru wo shiru, a Japanese proverb that translates to knowing what is enough. It means recognizing when your basic needs are met and feeling a deep sense of contentment with that baseline. In personal finance, knowing your enough is a superpower. It means calculating exactly what you need to live a peaceful, comfortable life, and refusing to risk that security for a lifestyle you do not actually desire. The practical system fix is to define your enough number. Calculate your actual baseline living expenses. Once you know exactly what it costs to fund your life, the chaotic noise of the macroeconomy becomes much quieter. You stop playing high-stakes games to win money you do not need. Quiet wealth begins when you stop looking at the person next to you and start looking at the life you actually want to build. True security is not having the most, it is needing the least from the wrong things. Choke in the unshakable buffer when inflation dominates the news. Financial commentators often shout a terrifying phrase, "Cash is trash." The modern money problem is that this rhetoric makes us panic, believing our money is losing value every single day. We either spend it quickly to get rid of it, or we throw it all into volatile assets trying to beat inflation. The visible cost is that you empty your savings account. The hidden, devastating cost is what happens next. Without a cash buffer, the moment a real-life emergency hits, a medical bill, a sudden job loss, or a broken-down car, you are forced to borrow money at sky, high interest rates, or sell your assets at a steep loss. The psychological trap is thinking you can outsmart global inflation by leaving your personal microeconomy completely unprotected. The Japanese concept of chokin, which simply means saving or accumulating money, reminds us of the core purpose of a cash reserve. Your emergency fund is not an investment meant to generate massive returns. It is financial armor. The system fix is uncompromising. Before you spend another minute worrying about the US dollar collapsing, build a solid 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Keep it boring, keep it accessible. Quiet wealth understands a fundamental truth. Cash might lose a small percentage of its purchasing power to inflation, but the peace of mind it buys you never depreciates. Kintsugi, repairing financial cracks as economic anxiety rises. It is very easy to look for a magical escape hatch. The modern money problem is ignoring the boring, painful reality of consumer debt while hoping that a lucky investment or a macroeconomic shift will magically save us. The visible cost is the crippling monthly interest payments eating up your hard-earned paycheck. The hidden cost is the total loss of your personal autonomy. Debt is a heavy chain that anchors you to stress, forcing you to endure toxic jobs or exhausting situations just to make the minimum payments. The psychological trap is avoidance. It feels much better to debate the future of the global economy on the internet than to confront a massive credit card balance. Here, we can apply the beautiful philosophy of kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. Instead of throwing the broken piece away or hiding the cracks, kintsugi highlights the repair, making the piece stronger and more valuable. You must do the same with your financial cracks. The system fix is to shift your focus from speculative gains to debt destruction. Paying off a credit card with a 20% interest rate is a guaranteed 20% return on your money, a guarantee no stock market in the world can offer. Repairing your own financial foundation offers a far greater return than successfully predicting the next global crisis. Kaizen Micro. Optimizations when the news tells you the global economy is collapsing. It feels like you need a massive, life-changing financial move to survive it. The modern money problem is that we wait for miracles. We wait for a massive promotion, a lottery win, or a sudden market boom to fix our cost of living stress. The visible cost is inaction. We just sit and watch inflation eat our paychecks. But the hidden, much more dangerous cost is the devastating loss of compounding time. The psychological trap keeping us stuck is all-or-nothing thinking. We convince ourselves that if we cannot afford to save $500 this month, saving $50 is completely pointless. This is where we apply Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of continuous, incremental improvement. Kaizen destroys the myth of the overnight miracle. It teaches that massive financial resilience is not built through giant leaps, but through tiny, almost invisible daily optimizations. The system fix is to stop looking for a grand rescue and start making 1% changes today. Automate a small $50 transfer to your investment account. Spend 15 minutes renegotiating your internet bill. Switch your expensive phone plan to a cheaper provider. Quiet wealth relies on a very simple mathematical truth. You do not need a giant leap forward to survive an economic crisis. You just need to ensure you are not silently sliding backward. Ikigai, purpose, driven capital. This brings us to the final, and perhaps most important, habit. When macroeconomic panic sets in, when everyone is screaming about a debt bomb or a currency collapse, we tend to lose our perspective entirely. The modern money problem is that fear strips away our financial identity. We panic, sell our long-term investments, or we abandon our saving strategies to react to whatever the headlines are doing today. The visible cost is realizing devastating market losses by selling at the wrong time. But the real tragic cost is losing the entire narrative of your life to financial anxiety. The psychological trap is believing that reacting to the news makes you a responsible adult, when in reality, it just makes you a puppet to the news cycle. Here, we need Ikigai, which translates to your reason for being, or your life's deep purpose. Ikigai demands that your capital has a specific, personal job. If you are investing in broad index funds for a retirement that is 20 years away, a currency fluctuation today does not change your Ikigai. The system fix is to physically write down the actual purpose of your money. If your goal is a peaceful retirement, a paid-off home and time with your family, you do not need to trade the news. You just need to stay the course. Quiet wealth is the ultimate realization that money only has true value when it serves your life's purpose, not when it consumes your daily thoughts. Now, you might be thinking, if the global economy is crashing and inflation is destroying purchasing power, isn't focusing on saving money and cutting expenses just making me poorer? Shouldn't I be aggressively investing in gold, crypto, or real estate right now? That is a fair question. But here is the pivot. We are not talking about hoarding cash under a mattress forever while inflation eats it. We are talking about building an unbreakable foundational system. You cannot successfully invest for the long term if you are constantly terrified of your next credit card bill, or if you have zero cash reserves. These Japanese money habits do not replace investing. They create the emotional and financial stability required to invest without panic. They stop you from blindly reacting to the news, and instead, give your money a quiet, intentional direction. Here is your exact action blueprint to take back control in the next 24 hours. First, channel the absolute clarity of Kakeibo. Print out your last 30 days of bank statements or credit card bills. Grab 3 different colored highlighters. Mark your fixed survival needs in one color, your intentional wants in another, and your unconscious money leaks in the third. Pay special attention to the automated, recurring, and convenience-based fees that quietly drain your balance. Second, apply the principle of Madanai. Choose just one specific leak from that third category to close immediately. It could be a streaming service you barely use, a daily food delivery habit, or an auto-renewing software subscription. Cancel it right now. Third, do not let that newly freed money just sit in your checking account, or it will eventually disappear into lifestyle inflation. Take the exact dollar amount of that closed leak and set up an automatic recurring monthly transfer. Send it directly to your emergency fund to build your shokin, or to a long-term investment account driven by your Ikigai. By automating this one single step today, you stop being a passive victim of global economic news, and you become the active architect of your own quiet wealth. The headlines about a debt bomb, a collapsing dollar, or the next global crisis might never disappear. There will always be a new macroeconomic disaster to worry about. But whether the global economy crashes or soars, the people who survive and thrive are the ones with an unbreakable personal system. These Japanese money habits are not magical secrets that will make you an overnight millionaire. They are simply tools to help you stop reacting to fear and start building quiet wealth. When your microeconomy is strong, the macroeconomy loses its power over your peace of mind. If this video helped you see your money differently, subscribe to the channel for more videos on quiet wealth and intentional financial habits. Please remember, this video is for educational purposes only and is not personal financial advice. Financial rules, taxes, pensions, and investment products vary widely by country. Always consider your own unique financial situation and speak with a qualified professional when needed before making major financial decisions.